Good afternoon. It's January 28th. It's mild and it's afternoon. I don't usually walk in the afternoon, but I am today because it's just to walk, so I'm going along the creek. It's above freezing, +1. Woohoo! It'll be fairly mild again tomorrow, then it cools off again this weekend. Has tended to be the tendency this winter. We get these day or two of mild weather, and then it cools off again. But enjoy it while it's here. And walk while just wearing my leather jacket as opposed to my parka. Gimbal does weird things sometimes. I don't quite understand when it decides that it's not going to go in the direction I'm pointing it, or in some other direction instead. I've been doing publishing stuff, royalties, which is a big job. I always put it off too long, but I have to get it done this week. Of course, the more books I publish, the worse it gets. I've got some ideas to make it easier, so let's see. Some things are easier. I figured out how to generate the reports I need from the various outlets better than I have in the past, so yay. And of course, in the end of all this, I have to pay out money too, which, since I spend every cent that comes in trying to keep publishing going, having to pay out to authors is obviously necessary, and I don't begrudge it, but makes it clear just what a shoestring operation I'm running here. It's a good operation. It's a good publishing company, but sometimes I think I may have to close it down in the next couple of years. Not immediately, but I may wind it down. I don't know. Just musing out loud. What I really want to do is write, and I'm not doing enough writing. I enjoy publishing, but not as much as I enjoy writing and publishing my own stuff or having my own stuff published. So it's a trade-off for sure. However, I do have one of my books coming out this year, and another one is out to another publisher. Yay! It'd be nice to be published by somebody else. My connection with Daw Books seems to have gone away, and I don't have an agent anymore, so I could probably get a new agent if I really wanted to. I'm of two minds on that. There's lots of writers these days that say you don't need agents, and certainly the publishing landscape has changed, but hey, Kirk in Vancouver. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm old, so whatever I do is fairly short term and unimportant. I got lots of books left in me, though, if I can get back to writing. I could easily write 4 novels a year if that's all I was doing. There were years when I wrote 4 or 5 books, although a lot of them were short nonfiction books. I kind of quit doing that stuff. Anyway, just musing out loud as I walk. Woof. Woof, woof. I lost some work time today because my pet, Shadowpaw, after whom Shadowpaw Press is named, took it into his head that he absolutely had to have me downstairs with him instead of upstairs in my office, meowing. And then when I went down and he wanted to play, so I had to play with him for a while. Tag and fetch and all that good stuff. Good afternoon, Dagoberto. I think I got that right. Yes. It was very funny. He just insisted that I had to come downstairs. 3 times he meowed to get me to come downstairs and pay attention to him. Heading to the dike, of course. There goes a rabbit. I don't know if you saw it. Ran up the alley. Main Street here, of course, takes us to the bridge. This house is for sale. On the corner, not this one, which is brand new. I've been in that house. Very nice house. I wonder what they're asking for it. Look it up. Not that we're buying, but just curious. I'm still sore from my fall on Thursday. It's not debilitatingly sore, but it's annoyingly sore. I mean, I went to the gym yesterday and it didn't really cause any problems, so I presume it won't tomorrow, but I'm definitely still sore on my rib cage on that side. I never felt it hurt enough to be a cracked rib. I think it's just a bruised rib, but bruised ribs apparently can take a long time to completely heal up too. Now, when I crossed over here yesterday, it was quite icy on the bridge, but it's been warm enough today. I imagine it's not too bad. In fact, it's dripping a little. Looking east, the lighting's a little different because I was here in the morning yesterday. Now the sun's over there. Looking west. Bit of a soft spot in the middle of the ice there. There's an outflow over there. Okay, yes, ooh. There's the ice. Yesterday I went left. Today I'll go right. Along the multi-use pathway. Already seen a couple of dogs. Here comes a big one. Where's he going? I guess they're going the other way. Probably won't catch him. There's a kind of a brown spot out there where water has run through that culvert onto the ice. Kind of a little bit of melting in the sun today, probably again tomorrow, and I think it cools off a little bit and then quite a bit. Next week it's more double digits below zero again. But today, quite lovely. Over there's the tobogganing bowl, but I don't hear any screams, so I think the children were just getting picked up from school. I think I saw a school bus as I was leaving the house. Hi, Black Cat. Days are getting noticeably longer. Still see light in the sky down low at 6:30. I noticed the other night. Not a lot, but some. Why, we're only 2 months from spring. Less than 2 months from the first day of spring. Of course, that also means we're only 1 month into winter formally, but people have been cross-country skiing down through there. Yeah, I'm still quite sore on that side as I walk. Oh, thank you so much. Black cat. Yeah, there is ice fishing, but not around here. There's no ice fishing on the lake here in the city, but in lakes in the area around, there's ice fishing for sure. Last Mountain Lake, Nickel Lake in Weyburn, I know people, which is also just a reservoir. It's an artificial lake, but when I was at the Weyburn Review down there, I went out and took pictures of people ice fishing. I remember it well because it was the first time I drove my car on the ice on a frozen lake. Just about the last time, too. I don't know if I've done it again since then, but I certainly remember doing it then. Thinking, well, all these other people out there with trucks and things must be fine. There's that big dog. I don't think we'll catch him. That'll move in pretty quick. Take more Tylenol when I get home, I think. Fat tired bike. See more of those around, and they even have paths for them in the. Of course, would have been nice if he'd rung a bell, but yeah, I think. Well, Nickel Lake doesn't freeze solid, but you don't fish in. I mean, Wascana Lake doesn't freeze solid anymore since they deepened it 20 years ago. So fish do overwinter there, but you're not allowed to fish for them. Before they deepened it, it froze solid every year. There were no fish left. I don't know if they stock it or I don't know why they would, except to support the habitat, I guess. Never looked into it. I think at its deepest, the lake now is about 9 meters deep, where they deepened it. So that's plenty deep enough not to freeze to the bottom. Quite breezy, since it's so warm, it's not unpleasantly breezy. More cross-country tracks down there. No, I wouldn't say that. We've had some really cold weather. It's just been kind of up and down, but nothing unusually mild. Just getting up to around freezing is, above average, but certainly not unusual. It's been quite snowy, especially in the first part of the winter, so we've got great snow cover, and snow cover actually keeps the temperature down. Especially if it's just around freezing. We're not losing a lot of snow, even though it's above freezing. Maybe in places where it's really thin, off roofs, it's dripping on the front of our house, that sort of thing. But No, I wouldn't say it's an unusually mild winter. Probably pretty average overall. And snowier than any. We're a semi-arid climate, so we don't actually get a huge amount of snow. It's just that it doesn't melt, so it stays white all winter. Well, I can remember back in the 70s on a high school chorus trip at springtime, we had deep, deep snow. It had been one of the snowiest winters ever. And we literally got across the border, I think Minot, maybe, North Dakota, and there was no snow. It was almost like somebody had drawn a line at the border and said, Canada gets snow, US doesn't. So I remember we all got out and were playing around in the grass because we hadn't seen any grass for weeks. Of course, when we moved up here from Texas, I fully, at the age of 8, I almost kind of half expected to run into snow as soon as we crossed the border, but it was August 1st, so no, it didn't work that way. When you're 8, you have certain ideas. It's 1967. We'd learned about Expo 67 in Montreal in school. I thought, hey, we're moving to Canada. Maybe I can go to Expo 67. My parents had to explain to me that Montreal was probably the same distance from here as it is from Texas. Different angle, but probably pretty much the same distance from where we lived in Texas. That's a lot. Yeah, the year I'm thinking of, well, one year in particular, I didn't even really experience it because I was sick that year. I had rheumatic fever and I was stuck inside for the whole winter. And they had such big snowdrifts on the campus of the school, which was out at the North Weyburn British Commonwealth Air Training Command Base, and is what the buildings were originally. So completely surrounded by prairie, and they had to dig tunnels through the drifts between the buildings. And I missed it. I was very disappointed that I missed it. Yeah, hopefully we have good soil moisture come spring. You can never tell. It depends on the runoff. If it's really fast and it all runs off and then it turns dry, might not help that much. But if it's a slow melt, then it's quite good. It can sink into the soil. And hopefully we get a wet spring and a dry summer. That's the ideal. Once growing season is over, then you want it dry for ripening and harvest. So go along the creek here. It's like a protective wall between me and the cars, thanks to the snow being shoveled up by the trucks. Plows, not the trucks. Actually, it makes it kind of nice. Very temporary wall, though. It won't be there soon enough. Well, not soon enough. It'll be a while. Primarily wheat, yeah, wheat, canola. There's other crops too, but those are the main ones. Oats. Some like canary seed and that sort of thing. You can see how deep the snow actually is. You have to step up to go across the bridge by about half a foot. Mustard, but wheat by far is the top crop. As we look east, and west. Well, I used to work at the Weyburn Inland Grain Terminal. I actually shoveled all that stuff at one point or another when it spilled. Or at least I saw it loading into the grain cars and all that. And of course, as a newspaper reporter in an agricultural community, Weyburn, I was right on top of what was happening in agriculture in the 80s, which was a terrible drought period. I remember one April, it was 80 degrees Fahrenheit in April, and tumbleweeds. That year or another year, we had tumbleweeds and topsoil drifts. It looked like the dirty 30s all over again. So some really bad drought years in the 80s. Then it improved again. So I had all that snow in the 70s. The 80s was droughty. And then I was no longer a newspaper reporter, so I didn't pay as much attention to it. But I do remember taking pictures of kids playing softball in early April, shirt sleeves and shorts, because it was summer temperatures. Don't think that's going to happen this year. Can't really extrapolate from now to then, but I also had my friend from Texas come visit, and there's very little snow at Christmas time that year that he came up. It's kind of disappointing when you want to show off the winter wonderland to your friends and it doesn't happen. All these little flags here are trees. They planted a forest here. We'll see. It should grow some more this spring, obviously. It'll be a while before it really looks like a forest, but each flag designates a different species of tree. There was a sign somewhere with a key to it, but I don't know where that is or if it's been knocked down by now. Ow. Yep, still sore. Sneezing and coughing hurts. Breathing is fine. Like I can take a deep breath, it doesn't hurt that much. That's why I'm pretty sure I didn't crack a rib, but I'm still sore. Is that the fourth or the fifth dog? Yes, I mean, Saskatchewan still holds the record for the hottest temperature ever recorded in Canada. And that was 1937. It was 114 degrees Fahrenheit down in Mydale, which is not far from Weyburn. We have an extreme climate. In 1 year, you can go from minus 40 Celsius and Fahrenheit to plus 40 Celsius, which is 104 or something. Certainly a 38, which is 100, and minus 38 Celsius. So that's minus 35 to plus 35 every year. I haven't done this walk for quite a while. I am feeling a little sore. That's okay. Tough it out. I didn't walk at all for 3 days over the weekend for that reason. This is the first long walk I've done. Probably tomorrow or the next day I'll just be downtown again. Hopefully it's a little better every day, but it certainly hasn't healed completely. I'm a little tempted to cut this short, but I won't. See, I could go up that way and cut off a big loop, but we'll go all the way to Pasqua Street. I'm tough. I can do it. sun is still well to the south of west, of course. That's not west by any means. Well, it's more west than that, but you know what I mean. It's southwest. Come spring, I'll have trouble walking along here because it'll be flooded, so with puddles, big patches of water here and there. I might go out on the ice down here. There's a spot that makes it easy to walk out. People sometimes even cross the creek there. See what it looks like. I don't want to wade through deep snow. Be happy to go home and have some Tylenol, though, I think. My ribs aching. Right along here, there's a low spot, so it usually floods here in the spring. But it's also a good place to go out on the ice if you wish to, if anybody has beaten down the path. I'm not going to wade through deep snow to get there. All right. Is this it? I guess this is it, but it's, will this hold my weight without me sinking? I guess so. So we'll take a little walk out onto the ice here. So here we are in the middle of Wascana Creek, looking at the Pascal Street Bridge, and then back up the way we came. I know, it's not that exciting, but I am standing on the creek, walking on water, in a way, without any divine intervention. Unless you consider the fact that it freezes, or divine intervention, I guess. Oof. All right. This is our turnaround point up here. I think it's a bit shorter going back because it's straighter. Let's go street here. Traffic picking up as we get, what time is it? Yeah, 4:30. Start to get people leaving work. So a nice wall of snow here between me and the traffic. Thanks, Buckhead. Thanks for the coffee money, or possibly beer money. I'm not saying which. Reminds me, I have a phone call to answer. I just got a message before I came out. I haven't answered yet. A fellow that watches my walks used to live in Regina, wondering what it takes to start doing it himself in somewhere in Ontario. So I'll have to get back to him. I'm not actually on the sidewalk. They cleared a path on the grass. Sidewalk's under that pile of snow. 15th Avenue. Looks clear enough to stay on this side, so we will. That's our real turnaround point. It's all homeward from here. In fact, I'd probably just go up and cross at the light up there, I think, today. Thank you. Pretty new house there. I remember watching it being built. Nothing much to say along here. Park, houses, road. That's kind of it. Walking due east now. There's a King Street, there's a Queen Street, and there's a Princess Street. King Charles III is King of Canada as well as King of the UK. We do have a king. Crown corporations, crown land, all that sort of thing. Court of King's Bench. I have to take my hat off. Now that the wind's not blowing on me, I'm getting warm quick. So sore. It's unfortunately true, but my chest has ached more than not for my entire life. So, they say, oh, if you have chest pain, go to the hospital. If I did that, I'd live in the hospital. It doesn't seem to be cardiac. And I know what it is now because I slammed my chest into the ground. But I do think about that. See all the traffic? That's end of work traffic. As we get closer to 5 o'clock, many people seem to get off about 4:30 or 4:45 or something like that. soccer field or a football field, depending. Mostly used for soccer, I think. Not going down the Yobach Civic Arts Center today. I'm going to keep going straight. Oof, little tiny dog. Being just around freezing, just above, makes it less slippery, mostly, with some exceptions. A little more grip on softer snow and ice. Although it was mild when I fell on Thursday, but I didn't really slip. I tripped. Different thing. Got my foot on something I didn't see, a lump of ice, but it wasn't because it was slippery, it's because it was sticking up. Probably keep the short walks after this, as achy as this is making me feel. Probably should take it a little easier yet for the rest of the week. 20 minutes or half an hour instead of 45 or an hour. Oh, great. I've got a headache too. Something twinging. I also hit my face when I went down, so probably related to the fall as well. Inside of my mouth is a little banged up. I didn't split my lip. I did give myself a bloody nose for a few minutes. As I said, I have a very small nose. If I'd had a bigger one, probably would have broken it. Yeah, we have to wait for the next light to cross here, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'll wait. I could go down this side, but it's no easier to cross down there than it is here. Carry on down 15th, I think. Or maybe we'll go down to college. I don't know which. Dog over there, dog over there. Oh, I think I'll go down college. Elphinstone, to college. When I jogged this, which I was doing briefly for a few weeks before I decided walking was the way to go, it's always nice to turn the corner here because this is all downhill toward the creek. House for sale if you're looking. Another dog way up there. Going for walks after work, before supper, kind of thing, I imagine, or after school, or whatever responsibility they have during the day. You're welcome, Karen. Glad you enjoyed it. Not quite done, but soon. Probably 10 minutes away now from home. Here's where I didn't walk, the Neil Balkwell Civic Arts Center. There's a school bus. Looks empty though. So it already dropped off its load. All right, we just go down a few blocks here to Angus Crescent and home sweet home. Probably is better on the other side because that side gets more sun. The sidewalk over there will clear off before this one does when the real warmth hits. Creek, of course, is right down there. Another fat tired bike, or maybe it's the same one, I don't know. I haven't ridden a bike in years. I was really into it, but every bike I've had in Regina has been stolen out of my garage. 3 times it's happened. Or is it 4? And the last time they took my helmet too. And I haven't replaced the bicycle or the helmet. It's very hard for me to find a helmet that fits my head. So that was a bigger loss than the bike in some ways. A long time ago now, but I would like to wring somebody's neck if I ever knew who it was. I can see where an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth is appealing. I always figure somebody who spray paints something on your wall should have something spray painted on something they like a lot. I know. Tevye says in Fiddler on the Roof, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Pretty soon the whole world is blind and toothless. But still, there are times when you really like something unpleasant to happen to people who have done something unpleasant to you or other people. I like their red door. It really pops out in this weather. Again, here's the creek down, even more downhill. Okay, I'm ready to quit. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting close. It's hard to work walking in the winter. Even though it's not deep snow, there's still a lot more effort goes into the steps, I think, because you can't kind of forget about them. You're constantly adjusting and that sort of thing. This is Garnet Street, where I first lived in this neighborhood, way down towards the creek. And then Leopold Crescent curves off to the left. So the next one up here is our crescent, Angus Crescent. Oh yeah, I have to take out recycling when I get home. I can't even just sit down right away. Oh well, such is life. Tote that barge, lift that bale, get a little drunk and you land in jail. It's also downhill once you turn this corner and start down the crescent. Walk down this side because the cars park on the other side, so it's a little more scenic, I guess. Talked about all these houses so many times as I go down here. My wife says this one is terrific inside, but I didn't get to go in when it was on the house tour. The Mountier Residence, 1929, says the sign in front. Maybe at the onset of the Great Depression. Dr. Edward A. Montier, respected dentist and community liver leader, lived here with his family until 1941. You can read the rest of it if you want to pause that. Oh, yes, there's the house again. A bit younger than ours. Ours will be 126. And our piano will be 127, so we'll have to have a couple of parties, one for the house and one for the piano. Also, the house is a better party house now that we have our extension with a downstairs half bath. You don't have to send people upstairs. And we have a nice deck by 26. We will have our hot tub that started this whole expensive project. Right now, a hot tub sounds good when I'm sore. It's kind of what we're thinking as we get older. Relaxing in a hot tub for aches and pains sounds like a plan. The deck is designed for it. There's a concrete pad for it to go on. And come spring, there'll be electricity out there. That's the thing that's still left to be done. Almost home, so I'll cross over to my side of the street. The sunny side of the street. We're going to stop at the intersection up here. I was told somebody's doing laundry because the dryer vents outside and there's that distinctive smell of drying laundry. I don't know what that is, but it's always the same smell. Stop at the corner up here. Right here. So that's that. How long was that? Yeah, 51 minutes. It shouldn't be that long on dry weather. It's more like 45, but that's the difference the ice makes. All right. Thanks for walking with me. I'll probably be back tomorrow on a short walk.